it's time to move to the bottom line. It's the bottom line. Melissa calls it the terrible twos. Michael calls it the bottom line. So we flip flop back and forth. It's usually called the terrible twos. Here we go. It's the final 2 questions of the show. The 2 most important questions. Question number 1 is, it's a tough one. On a scale of, oh boy, Josh, cover your ears. If you're cover your ears,
away.
just in case. We'll let you know if it's safe. Okay, here we go. Because Mike can be really tough sometimes. On a scale of 1 to 10, Michael, what would you rate this first episode of Mr. Mayor?
Well, I went into it with high hopes, and maybe that's why I was disappointed. Just because, like, I thought, Tina Fey is going to be great. I'm going to be laughing every second from the get-go. And I liked it. I did, I laughed. There were some good, solid jokes. But as we talked about, there were some slow moments and some slow characters. And so because of that, it's with great shame that I have to rate this show a 6.5.
Okay.
It's still on the upside, still above 5, which Josh would agree that means I liked it.
He really reamed into us that one time. 6.5
yeah,
is good.
but 6.5. It leaves me wanting, but it's there's good stuff there.
Melissa, scale of 1 to 10. What do you think?
I'm going to go with a 6.2. I think there's a lot of solid potential there. There's a lot of solid potential. There's a lot of forgettable moments for me as well. I'm annoyed by this trend of where current shows like to shove as much dialogue into one sentence as possible, and the delivery has to be blah, 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 blah. And so we get talking heads rather than character development and what have you, and storytelling. So I felt there was a lot of that in this show, but there was also a lot of good stuff too. So 6.2.
Cool. Jennifer, scale of 1 to 10, what do you think?
I think I'm going to give it a 7 because if this was percentages, that's 70%, that's passing. I give it a C. Well, 1, Josh was in it. No, I'm just kidding. Do my due diligence. No, which is kind of in alignment with the show. Politics. I think because it kept my attention, but also I gotta say I don't really watch sitcoms, so it's also getting more of a 7 rather than higher because it's not something that is like exciting for me. But I guess I like the writing, and it's the same thing as Melissa just said. Like it's one thing to be good at delivery and have this comedy and this going on, but like where's the depth? Is there any kind of character development where I start to feel for the character? I don't know if that would ever happen. It's so light. It's so on the surface that I'm not sure. Yeah. Anyway, 7 is solid because it's passing. It's entertaining, but it's not like, oh my God, you have
definitely.
To watch this.
That's a pretty good grade. I'll tell you what I would give it. What I will give it.
Oh no.
I've toiled a bit on this. It was better than I expected. I'm going to give it a 5.7. But not, and this is where Josh would kill me, but I did like it. It was very easy to watch. It was pleasant. There were no parts that I did not like. I thought it was just fine. There was nothing that blew me away. I thought, so you put it down the middle as a 5, but then plus some because I did enjoy it. It did make me laugh. I did laugh at some of the jokes. Nothing really blew me away. I found it to be very pleasant and a very easy watch, and I would recommend that other people watch it, and I give it a 5.7. Now, that being said, everybody, for the purposes of this podcast, we all had to watch the first episode of Mr. Mayor. Now that the podcast is over and you're free to move about the internet of your own volition, would you watch the second episode, Michael?
Yeah. Yep, I would. And I did. In fact, I watched the whole first season, mostly because I wanted to see Josh, right? Like, I was like, where's my buddy Josh? So I wanted to see him. He kills it, of course. And he's in 2 episodes in the first season, but I did see Bobby Moynihan on Instagram talking about it, and basically what he was talking about is like at the end of the first season, he said they started getting their stride, and I agree with that. And he says that he really hopes that they get renewed because what they have planned is even better. And I'm happy to report that they did get renewed for season 2. And so hopefully Josh gets some more work out of that too, because his character, it's a minor character, but he does have speaking lines, and he's really good. So I want to see more of him on the show. So make sure to make more Josh Sussman episodes.
Yeah, Josh Sussman.
Melissa Longo, would you don't have to be nice like Mike. Would you watch the second episode?
I would watch the second episode. I think there's some potential here. I could watch anything that Holly Hunter's in, and Ted Danson. But I do think there's some good potential here. So I would watch the second episode.
Wow. Jennifer.
All right.
Would you watch the second episode of your own volition?
Yes.
Wow.
All right.
But then right after the second episode, I would probably just go to whatever episode Josh was in.
Episode 5, yeah.
So I'd watch 2, just get a gist, where's it going, and then I'd just hop forward.
This has made this very difficult for me. I was all set to say that no, I would not watch the second episode because I just don't, I might end up, it's another one of those shows where I might end up watching the second or third episode, but I would not.
Or especially the 5th, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is I would watch the 5th. Definitely. I guess I'll have to stick with a no, that I wouldn't plan on watching the second episode, although I would definitely watch the 5th episode. And based on what Michael said, it almost switched me over to saying yes, because it only needs to get a tiny bit better, which I do suspect that it would. I mean, it's the first episode of a sitcom. They have 22 minutes. They don't have time to do anything. The best they can do is make a few jokes and get you to like the characters. So I'm going to have to stick with the no, but I will almost assuredly watch some more episodes, even if it's not the second episode. But the question is the second. So I feel
think
terrible
you're
for
make
saying
Bobby
that.
Moynihan very sad. Yeah.
All right, I'll say yes. Okay, let's move on. Yes, I would watch the second episode because good people deserve it to be watched. And Michael says it gets better, and we want to support good people. And it was easy to watch.
If you watch episode 5, Josh gets residuals.
Nice.
See?
That's it. We did it, you guys. You flip-flopped me for the first time ever. And then when this thing's over, I'm going to flip back to a no.
Awesome.
Wow.
Maybe I'll flip back to a no. But that's all. We got to run, guys. Michael's got a heart out. We got to fly. And so just remember this one thing, WTF and whatever you want us to watch, make sure to like, subscribe, check out our friends in the description box below. And this podcast held warm French bread pizza.
This podcast had erotic dementia.
This podcast had Josh Sussman in it.
Yeah,
Very
oddly enough, it did.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me about this podcast.
Nice.
Ah,
A little flip on us.
Yeah.
Now, everybody at home, thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you to Jennifer. Thank you to Melissa. Always remember what Mr. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg always likes to tell us.
Don't forget to register to be an organ donor, please. And also, just please watch the first of TV shows.
I'm switching back to a no.